Hey, good evening. Dan Fitzpatrick here at StockMarketMentor.com, and it's Monday, March 23rd. I want to look at Lowe's. This is a stock. Well, you can't hardly look at Lowe's without looking at Home Depot. They're in kind of the same type of configuration. Nice uptrends. They're up here in the winner's circle, but they've been consolidating for a while. Again, we'll go back. Okay, look pretty much the same. But here's what I like about Lowe's versus Home Depot. First of all, Lowe's is closer to my home, so I go to Lowe's. That would be the big reason. I like the blue aprons rather than the orange ones, though I'm sure those are nice too. But with this, the Bollinger Bands are a little bit tighter, so the stock's squeezing a little bit tighter. We like to see this prolonged consolidation at close to a top here. And this is what I'm seeing here of 70. What is this? We'll call it 76 bucks. So the stock's consolidating like 60 cents below, well, actually, and even today, it surpassed that. So this stock is knocking at the ceiling, not the door, but it's really bumping up against the ceiling, and it's trending sideways. So I'm looking at this. I look at the weekly chart and see how this has created quite a base, a high base, that the stock is still accelerating out of. So what I would suggest doing is pay attention to the 50-day moving average. If the stock, if it breaks out more, then go ahead and buy that. But even if it doesn't, because again, it's pushing up against here, and I think this is really bullish action, strong volume. But if the stock, this is for those of you who are more patient investors, if the stock happens to pull back to the 50-day moving average or just drift sideways long enough to touch this 50-day moving average, worked pretty well here, worked pretty well there. So it doesn't really hit the 50-day moving average that often. So if it does, that's a great time to buy if you are a longer-term investor. If you've got a shorter mindset, then if the stock breaks out above this little squeeze, go ahead and take this thing for a ride. But just know that it's going to move up and then ultimately drift to the side. So a breakout buy is not going to be the type thing that's going to scream up to 100 bucks. It's not. You probably make some money on it, but just have your expectations framed according to what you're seeing on the chart. Extended, strong, above the 50-day moving average. Breakout could have some potential, but for a longer term hold, you're praying for a pullback to the 50. Okay, members, over to the strategy session.